There is hardly any dispute in the administration, the Post Office Department, or among the business critics of the strike that the postal workers' grievances are real. A letter carrier, no matter where he lives, starts at a salary of $6,176 a year. If he lasts 21 years, he may receive a top income of $8,442.
For the first time ever, letter carriers went on strike, and mail service in and out of New York was suspended. The government immediately obtained a court order against the strike, and union leaders ordered the carriers back to work. Many refused.
I don't like to go on strike, but we must because they've been pussyfooting too long.
You can't live in New York City on what they're giving us.
I've been told I'm eligible for welfare, but I don't want to take welfare.
We want to work, but this is the only means we have of letting Congress know that we cannot take it any longer. Either they give us what we should have, or we will stay out on strike until hell freezes over.
In New York City and in some parts of Connecticut and New Jersey, the letter carriers are still carrying no letters. Their strike is illegal, but there is not much the government can do about it. A postal official was asked, what about the mail now lying in the street boxes and the post offices, and he said it would just lie there. Well, he was asked, what about perishables? And he said, they will just have to perish.
The president of the National Association of Letter Carriers, James Rademacher, before going off to meet with Labor Secretary Schultz, carefully walked the line between the illegality of the walkout and the possibility of an extended tie-up.
Undoubtedly, unless some satisfaction comes of the meeting that is about to take place, that we can anticipate that on Monday there will be no mail delivery in the entire nation.
We want to go back to work, but we don't want to go back under collective begging. We want to go back under collective bargaining.
At this time, we take the position, the rank and file, the people that are out in the street, the people that carry the bags, the people that sort the mail, that it's up to Congress to give us something, show us good faith, put something on the tables.
In Minneapolis, carriers voted after the Washington agreement to strike at midnight tonight, saying Congress has consistently given us promises. We're not going to work merely for more promises. And Pittsburgh postal leaders said their members would carry no mail tomorrow.
Defiance began early in the morning here in Chicago when about 50 mailmen on the picket line voted to stay on strike despite a back-to-work court order.
Well, what if what you're doing is illegal?
I don't care. Now, I know it's against the law. That's in the Constitution. It's in my contract. If they want to put me in jail, put me in jail. But they haven't got a jail big enough to put all of us in.
Some visible early effects of the mail strike. Stock market volume was down. Much more business was transacted by telephone and teletype, special messengers carrying stock certificates and documents normally handled by mail. In the financial district, there was no way to schedule a stockholders meeting because there was no way to notify the stockholders or mail out the proxy statements. Credit cards could still pay for services, but cardholders could not be billed and could not pay what they owed. Good evening. On Monday, I will meet my constitutional obligation to see that the mails go through. With those words, President Nixon faced up to an unprecedented crisis in the post office, the first strike in the 196 years since Benjamin Franklin set up the system. It is a domestic crisis with a potential economic impact, perhaps the greatest since the Depression. Since Wednesday, when 6,500 New York City letter carriers refused to shoulder their mail pouches, the strike has spread from coast to coast. Now it directly affects 14 states and has involved about 200,000 postal workers.
Last Saturday, I pledged to the nation that if the current situation existed on Monday, today, that I would take action to fulfill my constitutional obligation.
I have just now directed the activation of the men of the various military organizations to begin in New York City the restoration of essential mail services.
Can you imagine instead of having a letter carrier deliver the mail, having a guy with a bayonet walk into an office building? It's going from the ridiculous to the sublime. Boy, the carriers are the heartland of America. It's terrible.
What exactly are you doing?
I don't really know.
Do you think you're doing it as fast as a postal worker?
No, I don't. No. He must have his own little tricks because I can't find half the slots.
We are all loyal Americans.
willing to go back to work, happy to go back to work. But we will not be coerced by troops.
It was announced at a New York news conference, a 12% pay increase, quicker raises, no penalties for local union leaders like Gus Johnson of the letter carriers.
As a consequence of the hardships we have all endured, and because of the absolute pledges given us by many of our friends in Congress, I hereby urge and direct the members of Branch 36, National Association of Letter Carriers, to return to work. Thank you.